Hi everyone, it's Lori here from Lori Hooks. How y'all doing today? If you're new here, I have a whole bunch of new subscribers recently, and I'd like to say welcome to all of you and thank you for subscribing. And to the people who have been here before, welcome back. I always enjoy you being here, and I appreciate you watching. So I actually completed a couple things this week, which is amazing. My weekend was pretty quiet. My husband and I went to IKEA on Saturday just to walk around. And this is the first time we've been to IKEA since before COVID. And pre-COVID, you could go there and have breakfast. Well, the restaurant doesn't serve breakfast anymore. I was very disappointed. I should have realized when I looked at the restaurant hours before we left, the restaurant didn't open till 10, so I should have realized they no longer served breakfast, but I did not. So we went, and I was hungry when we got there. We got there around 10, and I was disappointed when they didn't have breakfast, and I wasn't in the mood for lunch food. So we walked around and saw a few interesting things, but we didn't buy anything, and then we headed home. We weren't really there for anything specific, so it's fine. I just probably did rush through more because I was hungry, and definitely had breakfast on the brain. So we did stop and have breakfast somewhere else on the way home, and it was nice just to get out. We've because of COVID, we tend to do takeout now instead of going out to a restaurant, and things have been open here for a while, as long as you're vaccinated. We are vaccinated, so eating out hasn't been an issue. It's just not something that we do that much anymore. I think that probably COVID has changed some of the habits that we have, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. We used to eat out way too much, and we eat out a lot less now, which is not a bad thing. So that was my Saturday, and then I was at home for the rest of the day. And then on Sunday, a couple friends came by for a short visit for a few hours, and that was my Sunday. It wasn't a very exciting weekend. Sunday was nice and bright and sunny. A little cool to sit outside. Thursday was beautiful though. It was. I decided to skip off work at 3, and my daughter and I sat outside for a couple hours until about 5 or 5:30, and it was nice just to be able to sit outside. Spring is springing, which is wonderful, but they are forecasting wet snow here for tomorrow, so hopefully not. I also did hear something about freezing rain. I hope not. If I've got to take one of the two, I definitely will take the wet snow before freezing rain, but it is what it is. I'm ready for spring. I'm really done with winter. So something that maybe somebody else can provide advice on this one. So on Thursday, I was sitting outside with my daughter, and I brought my crochet out with me. I actually brought the sweater out with me, and we ended up that I didn't work on it very much. It ended up sitting in a lump on the table. I had my cake in the bowl like I usually do. So I have a bowl like this, and I had the sweater folded up sitting on top. And then and it was quite warm out. Like, we were sitting outside. I started out with a sweatshirt on, and I was sitting in the sun, so the sweatshirt was a little warm, and I had taken it off after a while, so it was pretty warm out. But still, when I came in and went to work on my sweater later on that evening, it smelled. And this is not the first time that it's happened to me, where I've been sitting outside crocheting something, and it smells afterwards. And the last time was, it was quite cool outside that day. I was actually working on a mosaic blanket, and it was pretty close to being done. I was working on the border. So I had the blanket, I was using the blanket as a blanket while I was working on it, and I definitely needed it that day. It was quite cool outside. So I thought that the smell was from the dampness, from the cool, because it was a spring day, kind of like Thursday, but it was much cooler that time. So when it smelled afterwards, that didn't really surprise me as much. And the smell's strong enough that you really don't want to work on it. You just want to wash it at that point. So whereas this one, the time with my blanket, I was working on the double border for the mosaic where you, it creates an envelope to hide all your ends, and I was only a few rows into the double border, so I ended up dealing with the smell for quite a while because I didn't want to wash it until the border was done. Whereas this one, I just had a few rows left to do on my sleeve. It wasn't a big deal. It's just weird that it's both, they were acrylic both times. I'm assuming that it's an acrylic thing where things smell, but I guess my handmade items, I don't usually wear them to sit outside. I'm usually wearing a sweatshirt or something like that, so it's just weird how they smelled. Anyway, so that was that. So in terms of, so my sweater, as I said, it's done, and here it is. I put the button on and I'm wearing it. And am I happy with how it came out? Yes and no. It's very comfortable. I love the yarn. I love the way, well, I should reword that. It's not 100% comfortable. The shoulders on it do pull down. My sleeve hole, I think, is not too big, is not big enough, and the shoulders on it do pull down a bit, which I don't like. So as long as it's not pulling down, it's comfortable. It feels lovely and soft. It's been washed, and I didn't know how well that this was going to, because this is made with, go back a little bit. This is made with Caron Cloud Cakes. And it is 100% polyester, medium 4 weight, and these have a 760 yards on the cake. And the color is, this color is shark skin. So the color across here is shark skin. And I did the sleeves in a solid graphite cake. So I used about 1 and I would say about 3/4 of one cake. This is what's left of that one. And the sleeves, I would say this is about a little less than half of that cake, and this cake is graphite, as I said. And this is the way I always keep my cakes. I put them in, I keep this Tupperware bowl to keep them in so that they keep their shape. Although it's a little bit out of shape because I had taken this ball and shoved it in the middle, so there's my leftovers. But it is lovely and soft. It washed much better than I expected. I washed it on the gentle cycle in my wash machine. It does not have an agitator. And I put it in the dryer just long enough to get the real wet out, and again on the delicate cycle, and in cool, well, not cool, the first warm setting on mine. So that's not cool, but it's not warm. And then I laid it out on a towel to dry the rest of the way. But it washed very well. It did not ball. It looks really nice. So I'm really impressed with how it washed. I really didn't know how well that would go. And this is very warm. I had a sweatshirt on earlier, like a big warm root sweatshirt that I had on, and it's my warmest sweatshirt, and this is actually warmer than that. So I'm amazed how warm this is. And it is lovely and soft, but it does, because the shoulders are not how, they kind of pull a bit, so it's not quite as comfortable as I like, but I do like the overall effect, and I love this button that I picked up at Michael's, and that's my sweater. So the other thing that I finished was Miss Anne of Green Gables. So here she is. She has her lovely braids, and her hat comes off. She looks kind of odd without her hat, but we'll leave her hat on her head. So there we go. See her a little closer. I have a little trouble with faces. This is a YouTube tutorial, and she does give, she doesn't talk during the video, but she shows how she does her eyes, which is very good. The only thing the complaint that I had about it, and I mentioned this in my last, when she was still a WIP, was the very first step was that she had you create the head. She did not have you put in the safety eyes. Then she has you work the body from the bottom up. Her dress is attached. Then make the hair cap and her hat, and then assembly was the last stage. So in terms of the assembly, the first thing she had you do was, I guess, attach her head to her body. It was definitely before the eyes. And then she did the safety eyes. Well, every safety eye I've ever used has a backing, and you need to do it while the head's open. So I did realize a day or two after I made the head, I guess when I was probably about 3/4 of the way through the body, that I hadn't put the safety eyes in. And so I did scroll forward in the video to see, excuse me, what she did with the eyes, and she didn't show in putting the eyes in. It was just a line on the YouTube video, put the eyes between this row and this row. I don't think she even mentioned spacing, that I had to do my own spacing, which is fine. And then, so I ended up taking out a few rounds of her head and putting the eyes in, taking the stuffing out and putting her eyes in myself, which was fine. So there she is. She is complete. And I'm very, very happy with how she came out. My daughter really likes her. And yeah. So the yarn I use for her is Sheepy's Katona. And here is one from her hair, for example. Sheepy's Katona uses, they have numbers on the websites when you purchase it, but on the balls it just shows the color number. So like this one is color 189, but I believe this one was Royal Orange. I do remember like the names of a few of them, but not all of them. Like this one, the skin I used was Shell. And there was some jet black in here, which was just, what was the black for? Just her eyelashes. And I don't remember the color on this one. This was her hat. This one was emerald green. And we had some white, and this was the Snow White. This is her boots, and I don't remember what color this one was. Maybe chocolate. And is that all of them? Yes, that's all of them. So that is her done. And the hook that I used for her was my Clover 2.25. And I didn't mention the hook for the blanket sweater. It was a 6mm. And if you can hear my dog walking around, I'm sorry. Her nails click on the floor when she walks. But at least she's not barking, so that's good. So that's my finished objects. So I did start a couple of new things. I need a sip of my drink here. And here is one of them. So I posted a video a couple weeks, not even a couple weeks ago. Maybe. I got it a couple weeks ago, but I don't think I posted the video right away. But I bought a kit from Wool Warehouse, and this is what the kit was for. And this is Rainbow Sampler Blanket, designed by Kirsten Ballering. And I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the website. I did purchase the PDF from Ravelry, but this was free on the website. And this was originally a cowl. I think the cowl was in 2019 or 2020. So the whole pattern is on the website, and it is free. They have links for the special stitches and stuff, so for writing on how it's done. There isn't YouTube tutorials for any of it. But I am on row. I think I just finished row 10. So here it is so far. It's folded in half. As I mentioned before, I really like stitch markers. They're all over everything that I use. And this is very wide. It is more than my wingspan. So this is, and I'm making it exactly to the pattern's instructions. So it's probably a little over 6 feet wide. My wingspan plus about that much. And I'm really liking it so far. I like this blanket sweater. Towards the end, I was starting to get tired of doing half double crochets. And so, you know, this was not a pattern, so I won't have a link for it in the description. I will for this blanket, and I will for Anne. but I will not for this because this I did on my own. But as I was saying, I do get bored, so the sampler blanket is a very good thing for me because it's not as repetitive as something that's all the same stitch. And I do like the color changes. It gives it some interest, so I'm really liking that. And the kit was all Sheepy's color crafter in various colors. It's got 25 colors in it, so there was 28 skeins in total in my purchase. Molly's asking me to go out. Come here, Molly, come here. So now she's gonna have to come over and say hi, and they're just short enough that they're off camera, so now I have both of them here in my lap. So okay guys, relax. What was I saying? So yes, that was Sheepy's color crafter that the kit is, and it had 28 skeins in the kit, 25 colors total. And Molly is sniffing the tripod. I'm sorry, the camera was likely moving. So that was that I've been working on. And the other thing that I started was, and I will insert a picture for this, it's called Hoddie Bunny, I think. Again, I will insert the link at the bottom, and I'm going to put a picture in here. And I will show you what I have done so far. I have done the head, and the eyes are in. The eyes are tiny in this, and I think it was part of the reason why it drew me to it. And the hood you make separately, so I have the hood done, I have the body done, and I have 2 ears. So this is just, I wanted something quick to work on after the other projects that I'd finished, and I thought this looked cute, and with Easter coming, something a little bunny-ish was cute. We don't have room to store things. Molly, come here. Come here. You don't need to go outside. Come here. Now that they're both staring at me, just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Our house, we have a school behind our house, and if the kids are outside, the dogs want to go out there and watch them all the time. My office is in the basement, so when I'm downstairs in my office, they can't get in and out all the time, but if I'm sitting here in the living room, they certainly feel this need to go in and out constantly. So I was talking about the Hoddie Bunny. I am using, this is just stuff from my stash. So this is some Red Heart Super Saver, and the color on this one is Hunter Green. And the white is Bernat Premium. And the color on this is white. And these are just 4-weight. They're probably both from Walmart, I'm assuming. And I'm sure that everybody has seen these before, that you don't need all the specs on them. It's acrylic, and I'm using a 4mm hook for this. So that's my new things I've got going on and my finished objects. Very happy with what I've completed so far, and yeah, so I did not finish my Tunisian square yet from the Jada and Stitches Tunisian Calendar Cal. I haven't worked on it at all. It's just wanted to finish up my other things. I finished the blanket sweater, I think, on Friday. I think it was on Friday, and watched it over the weekend, and then I put the button on this morning. And then Anne, I finished her on Sunday, and I started the Rainbow sampler blanket on, I think it was on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with things. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to. Say hello. I love reading your comments. And I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.